Hey, happy Friday. I'm a little late with the Free Friday legal advice, but I just got done with work. So today, first off, I wanted to just say sometimes I run out of things to talk about because I do this all day long. So if anybody has any ideas of topics you want me to talk about, that'd be great. Let me know. Okay, so today I want to talk about mediation. I've been doing a lot of mediations lately, and the mediation process in Utah is mandatory at certain points. So if you're getting divorced, the courts are going to require you to mediate before you go to court or go to trial. And then also in different counties, they require that parties mediate for things like orders to show cause on contempt. So just be aware that the mediation process is mandatory. And I'm a huge fan of mediation because it allows parties to get together and discuss the issues and try to be creative and find solutions that might be good for them that a judge wouldn't order necessarily. Judges are great and they do a good job, but generally speaking, they just go by the law and they split things. A lot of times, if you're getting divorced and you've got issues of, property or death, they just split things down the middle. So they can't be as creative as you can be because you have time to discuss these things and you know your situation better than they do. So when you have mediation, what are some tips to having a successful mediation? First off, I'd bring an attorney. Let's be realistic. If you had an electrical problem in your house, you're not going to try and fix it yourself unless you've got some skills, right? If your engine is broken in your car, you're going to hire a mechanic. So if you have a legal problem, you really should hire an attorney. So first off, get an attorney. If the other side has an attorney, definitely get an attorney. Then you want to get a mediator who is good. So I would definitely ask around and get recommendations from probably attorneys who have mediated or who practice family law, because they're going to know who the ones who are the best bang for your buck, one, and two, who are good at getting solutions. So first, bring an attorney. Second, get a good mediator. Third, you're going to want to come in with all the information that you need. So if you're discussing financial stuff, make sure you bring the financial documents that you need to make a decision that day. If you are discussing your divorce, then bring in the things you need. So bring in the documents related to your property, bring in your retirement accounts, bring in documentation of your debts, because you want to walk out of mediation, hopefully, with a signed agreement. That's really the best situation. So let's say you go to mediation. Mediation can last anywhere from 4 to 12 hours. Sometimes you need follow-up mediations. But I can tell you pretty much always, even if you spent 20 hours in mediation, you're going to save money from going to trial. So just sometimes you got to dig in deep and do the work. When I first started practicing law a million years ago, I hated when people brought their support people to mediation because sometimes they blew it up, right? They would be telling my client, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, this isn't fair. And then I realized that it's really better to have the support people in the room with you when you're making these decisions, because then they can say those things in the room and I can help them be reality checked. Because sometimes those people don't really understand what the law is, and so they're telling you what they think you'd be able to get if you went to court, and it's not realistic. So and also, the people who aren't in the room don't understand what you negotiate for and against to get what you get. So they don't understand what the benefit was to you for what you got on paper. So if you have somebody, you can usually bring one support person to mediation. So if your mom has a big opinion and you're really close to your mom, bring your mom. If you are married, bring your new spouse, and then have them in the room when you make the decision. Just remember that if your support person becomes a problem, the mediator may kick them out. So remind them that this is your decision if you're the client, and that you'll be the one making the decisions. But they're there to help support you in that process and help you maybe brainstorm and sometimes reality check you when things get a little bit stressful. So we have our support people. You know that mediations can last for a long time. So be prepared for that. There's a lot of downtime in mediation. My arm's starting to hurt. So if you are a nervous person and you want to bring a book to read, or some people like to knit or crochet, or I don't know, if you have a nervous thing you want to do, bring that along. The mediator generally goes back and forth. So you're not in the same room with the mediator the entire time. He or she will go back and forth and bring offers and settlement options back and forth. Some mediators will provide lunch and some don't. So you might want to check with your attorney beforehand and find out what that is, because if you're mediating for a while, you're going to want food. So either that or order some food in. You can't, I don't believe you can negotiate unless your stomach isn't growling. So then let's say you reach an agreement. Fantastic. That's what we all hope for, right? So if you get an agreement, then somebody has to turn that into an order. So generally, one of the attorneys, which is a good reason to have an attorney, turns that into an order, and then that's signed by the judge, and then you have something that's enforceable. Until then, it's just a piece of paper, but you can possibly enforce that, but that's an issue for your lawyer. So I think through this process, you understand that I'm a huge fan of mediation. I think it is a very powerful process for you to reach an agreement on your own that is maximizing what you want, because sometimes you may win something in court that you don't really care about, but in mediation you can really fight for the things that you care about. And Jennifer Brown is watching, and she is now a judge. She was in my class, graduated from law school together, but now she's a high and mighty judge. So Jen, feel free to comment if anything I'm saying you don't feel is correct, or maybe just personal message me. Anyway, as always, this is general legal advice. If you have specific questions regarding yourself or your case, please contact an attorney, including my office, if you'd like specific legal advice. Otherwise, have a great Friday. If you have any ideas of things you'd like me to talk about, please leave a message, or you can personal message me as well. Have a great Friday, people.